Hey, Calum, let's talk about customizing our onboarding approach for every client. Every client has a different environment. They have a different challenges, different opportunities. The way they use technology is different as well. And we customize our approach based on every client's requirement. So if you walk us through how do we customize it and how do we make sure that it accommodates every business that we try to onboard?
Absolutely. As we know, every company is unique. There's not one place I've come across that's the same. So, it just makes sense that our onboarding approach has to be unique in order to be successful. So, I mean, part of that is, just understanding people, understanding the culture, their comfort environment. Again, because everyone works differently, so we want to find out, people working from home, are they out in the field, are they, in the environment, what's their environment like? We want to find out what's critical to them. Again, every company is facing different challenges. So we want to go in there and find out what those challenges are and, how we can best help them overcome those challenges. We want to understand what their business needs are, what their IT requirements are. Again, every company is going to have different systems. Different systems are going to be critical to different businesses. So again, we want to find out what those systems are. Which ones are the critical ones. We want to be able to find out when we can do maintenance, when is the best time, because again, that's going to change from one company to another. Some companies are 24/7, some aren't. So again, we need to really customize our approach based on that. And then, are they getting stuck anywhere? Again, what are their different kinds of challenges that they're facing? So kind of based on those 3 points is basically how we customize our project plan and how we go about, addressing all of those issues.
Yeah, there's so much details that they do understand for every client, right? So once you get to understand how they operate, what their requirements are, how they feel comfortable using some of the technologies, definitely it makes sense to customize it. So make sure that there's no impact on a business when we onboarding it, and there's no impact on their client as well. Not only our client but also their clients as well. So everything's smooth for everybody, and it's easy transition going forward, right?
Exactly. That's why when we go in there, we want to find out of all the systems, what's critical, sit down, talk to them. And then us just given our experience, dealing with different systems, we also know they may not even realize what necessarily could be critical and what needs to be addressed. So again, given all of our experience, our previous onboarding, everything that we do, when we see all these systems, things that we have experience with, again, we can help even, show them what's critical to them. And again, so, to your point of, making sure everything is very smooth and that there's no impact to them, or like you said, with their client as well. So that's, again, something that we do when we customize our onboarding.
And often we find, Caleb, that because you do this ongoing basis and you understand onboarding process very well, and sometimes even clients haven't thought through a lot of items that when you ask questions and they think, okay, we never thought about that. So when you go through this process with them and you ask those questions, and even if they're not aware of it, and you can make them aware and you can handle those items much better because you do this very often, and clients never gone through this process, right? So how often that happens that you find out, hey, this is how we need to handle that, and they're not even aware of that. That's how you need to handle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's certain systems that they just don't even realize that are there and what needs to be done, either because maybe their previous IT company didn't know about it, or just doesn't share that information with them. But we're always very open and transparent. We want to share all this information with our clients. So if we come across and we see something that there's an issue, maybe their backups aren't being run correctly. They're under the impression that everything is good there. But we go through and we sometimes a lot of the times we can find things that are issues that the client was just unaware of, that they just didn't know. So again, this is something I've seen quite often. There's been so many onboardings that I've done that there's been something critical that's come up that they weren't even aware was an issue, but it's something that I've been able to find and sit down with the client and discuss with them, and then that's what we will incorporate into our project plan when we do the onboarding to help address and fix those issues, so it never becomes anything major for them.
Good. Okay, let's go to other points we made in the first video, in a little bit more detail in the coming videos. So thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, Gurmeet. Happy to talk about it.
Okay.